Hello YouTube and welcome to Jinka Jabo. Today I'm going to be talking about politics, which you all hear enough about, but my opinions have changed a lot over the last couple of years. So I just wanted to talk about how I came to take the red pill. And the red pill, I wanted to get some candy or something today. I couldn't find any. But the red pill is the symbol of changing your political ideas, going over into the anti-SJW camp, learning what the other side is. Because like many people who went to college my age, I was just brought into liberal thinking without even really questioning it. And a lot of that's on me. I didn't study any STEM fields or anything. I was a social work major before going on to study English. But anyway, I'm going to read just a few of my thoughts about my political identity. I haven't voted for president since 2004 when I was first eligible to vote. And it was then that I voted for John Kerry, which I really didn't feel good about. But Bush was just so horrible, and the GOP was so horrible, and they were warmongering, and I was really upset with the Republican response to the events of 9/11 and the Iraq War and all the awful things that followed. Before I left the USA in 2008, 4 years after that, I actually got a chance to see Barack Obama up close, and there's a video of me somewhere on YouTube with him, and I was able to leap forward and shake his hand, and I was filled with Obama fever like a lot of people were. But 2008, it's almost 10 years ago now, but that year was a real helter-skelter slide for me. A lot of things changed, and I wound up living in Korea. And I'll spare you the whole story. The people who know me well will already know this, but when it came down to voting, I was in the hospital in Korea, and I had other things in my mind, many other priorities apart from voting for president. That said, I was still quite happy when he won. But then 2012, I was back in the US in graduate school, and I couldn't be bothered to vote for him. And not because I liked Mitt Romney, and honestly, I was pretty sure that Obama was going to win anyway, but there were things about his administration that really bothered me. Obamacare, for example, I just think it is unnecessary. It's a very timid half step that kind of punished people for not having health insurance, which it's not quite how the system works. And I might do another video talking about health insurance later, depending on how motivated I am to talk about politics, but that's not really the push of this channel as far as I can tell right now. Okay, Obama, one thing that really bothered me about him was the drone strikes, which we knew killed civilians. And he would get up on camera after Sandy Hook or these other tragedies, mass shootings where children died, American children died, and you would see tears, but where were the tears for the Afghanistani children, or for the children in Pakistan, or these other places where these 7 countries, I forget the exact number, but the total number of bombs dropped in his administration, the number of civilian lives lost. This Nobel Peace Prize winning man really upset me when I thought about Democrats, and I really don't think I could vote for one again. Starting back in 2012, I was really upset with all that. And so politically, at that point, I considered myself an anarchist, and I was an anarchist, I guess, however I would define that, for a few years. In the sense that I thought, well, here I am living overseas, here I am working in other countries, using other currencies, so it doesn't really matter if I should vote anyway, and I didn't worry too much about politics. And every now and then I would have a lukewarm conversation with one of my brothers who are more into it, being Americans who are still in America. But I really didn't think about it so much. But in the last year or so, with 2016 and watching it all from a distance here in Vietnam, I've definitely become very right-wing in my opinions, which is quite odd because I'm not rich. I don't have a family of my own, really. I don't have children, I should say. And I'm very liberal, stereotypically, in a lot of ways, you know. Like, I take summers off, and I'm not too motivated by money. And I'm not too worried about who's in power or anything like that. And without going into any sort of details, you know, I've broken quite a few laws and I've been busted for things. In fact, so I mean, I've always had more of a siding with the left. But then when I've looked at what's going on in America right now and in Europe, it's really changed my way of thinking, because finally I have, just like I'm making videos now, like my whole entertainment news source, everything is YouTube. And so because of this, I've been watching both sides of the debate, and I found that one side has a lot more to say, and that things have changed. Like the GOP, who used to be about censorship, they were the ones putting, they were the ones big on keeping children out of R-rated films and things like that. Of course, now that I think about it, the parental advisory sticker was Tipper Gore's doing. So both sides have been censoring a lot, but now it's gone crazy with this Orwellian speech crimes and the celebration of violence. And when you really look at what was happening in the US and what's still happening now, it's the left that's the source of the violence that's going on. They're the ones putting on Antifa masks and rioting, and trying to shut down events just because speakers like Miley Napoulos and Ben Shapiro or Ann Coulter or whoever tries to show up. They're the ones shutting down free speech. They're the ones shouting and protesting. And like many Americans, I was watching the Trump rallies and seeing, Trump is saying things like, you should beat him up, I'll pay for your medical bills and all that. When it came out later, as I'm sure some of you have seen the tapes, that actually, it was agitators, the George Soros-funded agitators who were going in and trying to pick fights at Trump rallies. And they're the ones who were smashing windows after the election. And so watching all of this, maybe my perspective is different because I'm so far away. It's just when I'm seeing camera phone footage on YouTube. But this is what I have learned about how my society is changing. But, you know, I turned to YouTube and I found a new media. I avoided the fake news. I found some real news. And what is the real news? Who are the real commentators? Who are the voices out there that actually have something to say about what's going on? And I found a lot of great YouTubers, and I'll try to put a few links in the description below. For example, Sargon of Akkad, TJ Kirk, Steven Crowder, Dr. Jordan Peterson, Derrick Blackman, Tree of Logic, Anthony Brian Logan, Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, Gavin McInnes, Lawrence Southern. I could go on and on, but there are so many great voices on YouTube that have helped mold my opinions. And I don't agree with anyone completely, and there are still some some liberal YouTubers that I really like, including David Pacman and Kyle, Secular Talk, Kyle Kowinski. He's pretty good, but I don't agree with anyone 100%, of course not, but like Gavin McInnes pointed out, on the right side it's a much bigger tent. There are much more diverse opinions. Many who consider themselves liberals, like ShoeOnHead and Sargon of Akkad, find themselves on this side of the camp, and there are plenty of libertarians, classical conservatives, even a few people who, for whatever stupid reason, actually like George Bush. So, but it's a big camp, and there's a lot of freedom. And from this side, I have looked at the left, and I have pondered that maybe they are all just doing the same thing, and maybe it's all conformity. It seems to be their mission, and shutting down on free speech, which really bothers me. And a lot of liberal friends of mine, they're still fans of Bill Hicks and George Carlin, and they can quote his comedy bits, but when it comes down to actually standing up for free speech and allowing people to say things that they really want to and that they believe in, these are the same liberals that shy away from that and say, well, no, we need to have safe spaces, we need to have trigger warnings, etc. There's this whole new language that's developed around the left that's really maddening. I'm already at 10 minutes. Okay, before I close out this video, just wanted to say, like, since I've been red-pilled, I've been reintroduced to a lot of people in the sense that people I know here, coworkers and so on, they're like, wait a second, you're actually a Trump supporter. Not a Trump voter, mind you. Trump supporter. Didn't vote for him, won't vote for him again, but I was happy that he won, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to win again, but that's neither here nor there. But I was talking to an English friend about a year ago when Brexit was happening, and she said when she found out, she just started crying. She was so upset about Brexit, and I asked her why, and she said, well, the whole decision was racist. And I asked her, well, why? What about Brexit makes it racist? What about it is such a disaster for your country? And she couldn't really give me a specific answer. That's all I wanted. I wasn't worried about the why, I just wanted the what, you know? What is the EU? What does it do? What are the facts? And I sat down and I studied this a little bit, and I thought it's really unfair what's happening to the English. And it's a good idea that they left, and the fact that they're trying to undo it is really akin to people trying to first impeach Donald Trump, say that his presidency is illegitimate, blah, blah, blah. There's so much that the other side is doing to undermine the very principles of democracy that we have in, albeit different forms, in both our countries. But the point is, talking to her, I realized that often on that side, it's about feelings over facts. And that's not how I am. I believe in facts over feelings. You know, okay, I have a big heart, you know, I like puppies, and I'm a big spoon, you know, but and I think pollution is bad and racism is bad, and everyone agrees all that. But we really need to think about the specifics. We need to think about why these things are considered racist, how words like racist and sexist and transphobic and all this other language gets used, and what are the real sources and what are the real solutions. That's what I really want to learn. And so anyway, this is just my little video talking about my red pill experience and giving you some red pills, and I encourage you to take them. I encourage you to look into these other YouTubers who can articulate it much better than I can, and really consider what stand you side on and how politics has changed, because it's not as easy as I remember 10 years ago or 15 years ago when I was younger and I just thought, okay, well, liberals good, liberals accepting, Republicans bad. But when you really look deep into it, there's a lot more to the story. Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Keep it easy. This is Justin with Jinka Jabo.